Hi guys, so today we're going to be working with trig identities, okay? So we're going to be using these identities to simplify some trig functions here. I'm going to go over them and then I'm going to show you some examples. I actually really enjoy doing these, but I don't know, maybe you will too. You let me know. So yeah, the top two lines here are just some basic trig identities that you already know, the reciprocal identities, right? So the sine of theta is the reciprocal of cosecant, so it's the same as 1 over cosecant, okay? Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so it's 1 over sine, okay? Same thing with cosine and secant are over here, cosine and secant, okay? This is a really important one. The tangent of theta is sine over cosine of theta. Okay, that one's going to come up a lot. Tangent is the reciprocal of, cotangent is the reciprocal, right? And then if tangent is sine over cosine, cotangent is cosine over sine. So these are going to come up very often, okay? Here, these are some Pythagorean identities, kind of like a squared plus b squared is c squared, right? So cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta equals 1, okay? Then you have some with tangent and secant here. This is just going to take some getting used to. You'll eventually remember these. This comes up a lot. 1 minus cosine squared theta is equivalent to sine squared theta. And then the reverse, 1 minus sine squared theta is equal to cosine squared theta, right? That comes from this, right? If I subtract the cosine on the other side, I get sine, right? And if I subtract the sine on the other side, I get cosine. Get it? All right, so these are based off of the Pythagorean identities. All right, so I'm going to do 3 problems right now, and then I also posted some Khan Academy examples, and then I'm going to give you, your assignment. So we're going to start off like fairly simple, and then we are going to get to the more complicated ones. But like I said, I like these. I don't know, maybe you will. Like little puzzles. All right, so we need to simplify this. All right, so I'm going to try to write them in like either maybe sine or cosine terms or something that makes sense. Every problem is going to be different. All right, so in this case, this is tangent theta times cosine theta. Just like whenever you have 2 variables next to each other, you multiply them, right? So same thing. It's this multiplied by that. All right, so I want to rewrite this. Okay, I can't really rewrite this in terms of tangent, but I can rewrite this as sine theta over cosine theta, right? Times cosine theta. If you want to put it over 1, you could if you like seeing it that way, right? So just to reiterate, tangent theta is the same thing as sine over cosine theta, right? Times cosine. So in this case, the cosines will cancel out, and I will get sine theta over 1, which is just sine theta. Okay, so tangent theta times cosine theta is the same thing as sine theta. This one, now I have a cosine theta times cosecant. Okay, so how can I rewrite cosine? Or how can I rewrite cosecant? So I'm going to leave cosine as is. Okay, now there are different ways and different orders to do these. You got to just kind of work with them and you'll eventually figure out what's easiest. So cosine theta times, I'm going to rewrite this. This is the reciprocal of sine, right? Cosecant with sine. Okay, so if I multiply this out, again, if you like to see it like that, if I multiply across the top, I'll get cosine theta over sine theta. And what is this? If you go right up here, just like tangent is sine over cosine, cotangent is cosine over sine. So here, I've got a cosine over sine, so that is equivalent to the cotangent of the angle theta. All right, so I left this as cosine. I rewrote this as the reciprocal 1 over sine. I multiplied them, and I got cosine theta over sine theta, which is cotangent. Okay, next one. Sine theta times secant theta over tangent theta. So, what should I do here? Let's see. Why don't I change this secant? I'm going to do sine theta times secant. I'm going to rewrite as 1 over cosine theta over tangent theta. right? If you wanted to rewrite this as sine over cosine, you could. But I don't think we need to do that. Let's see. So here I have sine theta times 1 over cosine theta, right? So here this is sine theta over cosine theta, right? Over tangent theta. So that's the same thing as tangent theta over tangent theta, which is 1, right? Anything over itself is 1. Right, so sine over cosine is tangent, and then I have over tangent is 1. Or if I changed it to sine over cosine here, I would have just had sine over cosine, which is 1. All right, so sometimes you gotta just kind of work them out a little bit. Again, I posted another couple examples that are on Khan Academy, and then I'm gonna give you some practice problems, and then we're gonna move on to some more complicated ones that you know, are just way more fun. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. We'll probably do this for the next maybe day or 2 days practice. Okay, have a good day.